I didn't think I'd get this far, but I've got plenty to talk about. And this is a super special episode because it's dedicated to the rats in the sky, the homeless's best friend, the scavengers of the sky, pigeons. Okay, people? Pigeons. And not many people like pigeons. And if I had to rate them on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably put them, in terms of animals, 2. Because there's a lot of them, and I feel like rarity. I don't see a lot of Bengal tigers, so they're kind of a 10. But one memory I have of pigeons is in school, and it was snowing, and this pigeon must have thought it was a snow day for him because he wasn't flying, and he was just kind of knocking around a load of teenagers. And people started throwing snow at the poor little thing, and I was like, I'm going to go up to it and pick it up and put it somewhere. So then, now everyone thinks I'm the pigeon boy, like the freak off Home Alone. But thankfully, no nicknames stuck. They only call me Gaylord and lanky weirdo, freaky mongoloid fingers. Thank God I didn't get called Pigeon Boy. But the reason I want to talk about pigeons is because my uncle, right, is told the funniest story in the world. Are you ready for it? Sit down and get a drink, because this is a great little story. So, right, my uncle is out washing the car, this weekend, and he turns around. There's a little pigeon looking at him. He shoos it off. He wants it out of his personal space. You know what they're like. They carrier of diseases, rats of the sky, like I've said. He didn't want it anywhere near him, so he does. Screams at it. Boom. He doesn't go. So he carries on washing his car, and it's still there after he's finished. So he goes up to it, and he sees it's got a little tag on it, and that means some creep has this as a pet, right? It's a racing pigeon, and I don't know what races they take part in, but they fly and they come back, and this one must have got fucking lost, or its sat-nav must have run out of battery because it was on the street. My uncle, takes it, puts it in a box, and, gives it a couple of hours rest, and then goes into the garden, right? Picks it up, throws it, thinking that might, jog its memory a little bit on how to fly, and it just falls straight on the ground. It just dives straight in, kamikaze, boom, into the grass. So he rings up the racing pigeon hotline, and this is a real thing. I didn't quite believe it when I first heard it, but it's actually called the Royal Flying Racing Pigeon Society or something, and there's a number that you can call. This is a database or something. So he rings up the racing pigeon hotline, and they answer, but it's an automated voice, and it says something like, "We are very busy with calls at the moment. Please ring back at a later time." Right, the pigeon hotline is busy. Okay, like the ambulance service. Why? How many people are calling this thing? It makes you wonder what has happened. Is some sort of pigeon van has collided with something, and thousands of pigeons have flown off, and now hundreds of people are making these calls to this racing pigeon hotline. So he manages to get through later. He gives them the little tag number that it's got on it, right? Because there's some sort of database that all these pigeons are in, and they link it up. They're like, okay, beep, 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 beep. Right, okay, yep, we're just putting up. Yep, okay, we found the owner. We're gonna let him know. And he's like, "Oh, can't you just give me the phone number, and I'll ring him and give it him." And they were like, "Oh no, sorry, data protection. We can't give any details out." So now he can't even get the fella, and he doesn't know when the guy is gonna get round or even know about his little pigeon that he's lost. So they give him some sort of instructions to look after this thing, right? And they say, "Okay, give it cornflakes. It likes to eat cornflakes. Maybe some sugar water. Give it 3 days, and then if it's G'd up enough, it'll fly off." It's been giving it cornflakes, right? And it is getting through these cornflakes. You had to go out and buy another box of cornflakes, and these cost about £7 now with inflation. So he's already in deep, right, money wise, with this little creature. So he thinks maybe, right, there's somebody that lives around where he lives that had a racing pigeon, a little empire. So he goes down there, and he gets the wrong house, and there's this woman in the garden. He starts talking to it, and then he tells her about this pigeon, that's been causing nuisance. And she's like, oh yeah, we had one of these that came in the garden a couple of years ago. We rang up the racing pigeon hotline, another person, right, that knows about this thing, which I was completely oblivious to, you know, and she said they told them to give it cornflakes and sugar water and give it 3 days and it'll be right as rain. So they did that. You know, it looked pretty happy. 3 days later, they put it in a little box and take it over to the nearby park. Let it all out. Pick it up. Throw it. Straight away, flies off. Happy as Larry. They get in the car and then go back home. Go onto the back garden, and the little pigeon is is there, sat in the garden where they found it. So it's also funny how they recommend these cornflakes. Like, I wonder who is really behind this whole pigeon society and who's it funded by. You go online, they choose the chairman of the Pigeon Society, Tony. First name Tony, second name the Tiger. Interesting. This might be a lifelong pigeon that's going to be in the family now. But he's called it Eric, and you know, it's exciting. It's hilarious as well. You know, the pigeon hotline. I kind of want to just ring this thing, just to find out. I might just ring this thing right now. You know, give him a piece of my mind.
Thank you for calling the Royal Pigeon Racing Association. Good afternoon. Can I help you?
Hello, my name is Wayne, and I'm just in university at the minute, and I'm just writing like an essay, and I get to choose what I do it on. So I thought I would do it on, you know, the racing pigeons and stuff like that. And I've not really got too much of an idea about it, but I heard a story from my uncle that he found a stray pigeon, you know. So I've just got some questions, and I was just wondering if you'd be able to answer them.
Potentially. The only other place that would be able to answer it is on our website. There's probably a lot of information on there.
Right. Okay. Well, can I just give you some of these and see if you could answer them for me?
You can ask
Yeah.
them. I'll try and give them a go.
Nice. Well, I was just wondering who, like, what is it? Is it funded by the Royals? This, or is it? How is it funded?
Yeah, it's not funded by the Royals. It has a royal connection. So there is on the website. There's a whole page about how it was actually linked to the Royals and where it kind of comes from. There's even an article on there from the Majesty magazine on the history of it.
Do you like have a big database of all the pigeons?
Yeah, so there's various clubs around the actual country. Each club has various members and they pay fees to basically have a loft and to be able to race. And we basically allocate races out for each club up and down the country. And it kind of basically funds in that way.
Right. How much is the fee? Is it like per pigeon or just like a?
So it really depends. You have to pay a fee for your actual loft, and then there are if you don't have any pigeons to begin with, you have to buy pigeons from another fancier, and again they vary in prices and depending on pedigree and everything.
Oh wow! See, that was my next question. You can't just find a pigeon, right, and it becomes a racing pigeon. Has it got to be you know, a special breed?
That's a good question. I'm not sure I can answer that one. Because it's such an old sport.
Mm.
Basically, whoever started it back in the 1800s would have had one racing bird or a pigeon where they started putting rings on them, and they kind of bred them from there. So basically, when a pigeon wins a race, if it wins more than one, etc., it then starts to become a pedigree sort of pigeon.
Oh wow! Right, and How many pigeons are there, like, in total in the whole database? Do you know that?
I would not know that off the top of my head. Probably quite a few.
Are we talking millions? Hundreds of thousands?
Quite possibly.
Wow. And do you have, is it strictly pigeons, or is there any sort of other birds that can be racing?
It's strictly pigeons.
Wow. Why is that? Are they just the best? Are they the quickest, or is it?